Good morning, Jackie here, wanting to do a brief overview about the spinal strip, which is a therapeutic tool that I use in my classes almost every week. If you don't have one of these, you can always call me if you'd like to get one. You can also just use a towel or a blanket. I grabbed a hold of one of my beach blankets or my beach towel. So you can just take your towel and just roll it into a strip shape, and you can fold it over. When we do that position, you may have to play around with the thickness of your towel or your blanket. If you're using a really thick beach towel, it might be a little bit too high when we fold it over. So again, you can just play around. So there's lots of things that you can use at home. This is a very unique tool. Using the strip here, it's a very firm kind of foam, and it helps kind of just access all the tension that many of us hold in our thoracic spine and our shoulders, even up into the neck. It is just a wonderful tool for just creating that sense of ease and release in those areas of the body. And the thoracic spine is the area from the bottom of the shoulder blades to the bottom of the neck. So right where the rib cage is. And you can imagine that because of our lifestyle, sitting a lot on the computer, driving, texting, our backs and shoulders tend to round like this. Creates a lot of dysfunctional movement in the shoulders, in the back, a lot of tension. So this lovely little tool helps just to release that. Lots of, there's 4 ways of using this tool, so let's get started. The first position is we fold the strip over, or fold your blanket or your towel over. Come to the center of your yoga mat. The loop part goes to the center of your spine. The bottom of the loop is at, for us ladies, our bra strap level, and for us gentlemen, it's just the bottom of the shoulder blades. Hold the strip with one hand, other hand comes behind you, and you just slowly lower down. Hold the strip as you lift, coming up. Take a few moments and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your bum. Take one of your hands, reach underneath your back, just to make sure, again, that loop is at the bottom of the shoulder blades. We don't want it too high or too low. Just kind of wiggle into it. And if you've never done the spinal strip before, this is going to feel really interesting. It can be sometimes a little uncomfortable, but there are options. So laying here with knees bent at first, taking 5 deep breaths. And at the end of that 5th breath, if you find that you're having discomfort in the SI joints in the lower back, then just slide a blanket underneath your hips just to lift the pelvis up. Good. Kind of settling in. Again, giving it 5 deep breaths. And notice as well, you can change the positioning of your legs. Bent knees are a little gentler. You can increase the sensation by stretching out the legs. Notice how that feels. So pick whatever variation feels right for you. And notice too, when we're on the strip in this particular position, how the chest kind of wants to thrust forward. So I invite you, every time you exhale, just to kind of invite those lower ribs to drop. And notice as you drop those lower ribs, what are some of the sensations that are going on into the rest of the spine. So again, taking as many breaths as you want in this position. We're going to add a little bit of shoulder work to this. So taking your arms, reaching up to the sky. Drop the shoulder blades straight down and kind of feel the edges of the blades touching the strip. And then inhale, reach those arms, lifting them up, broadening the shoulder blades. And then exhale, slowly allow the blades to sink back down and gently squeeze that strip. We want this movement to be very smooth, no clunkiness, no chunkiness, no cracking, no popping. If you notice those sensations, just do the movement a little slower and a little smaller. So instead of reaching all the way up, maybe just reach up an inch or two. We want to work in that easeful, pain-free range of movement. So again, you can do this as many times as you want, maybe 5 to 10 times. When you're finished the shoulder work, you just again let the arms drop to the sides, take a couple breaths, lay out, hang out here as much as you like. And when you're finished, you simply just reach up behind you, grab a hold of the strip, roll off onto the floor, release the strip, and then stretch out those arms and legs and notice some sensations in the back. Lots of people report just feeling more points of contact between the floor and their back. I had one student even describe it as a feeling of kind of, getting snuggled into your nest. I've always liked that explanation because it's so true. Perfect. So that's position number 1. Position number 2 is just another position, just again, great sense of release in the upper shoulders. So you want to take your strip or your blanket or your towel, fold one end to a little tiny loop, and that loop will be about the height of a hand, just a little bit taller than your hand. So hold that, come to the center of the mat, bring it behind you so the tail is above your head. The edge, this little edge here, is going to be right at the center point of the bottom of your neck and the top of your thoracic spine, so right where your neck starts. Hold the strip, lower yourself slowly down. Again, take the time you need, lift the hips, wiggle, 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 coming onto the strip, using one of your hands, reaching behind you, making sure that edge of the strip is at the base of your neck. Good. Your head is resting on the strip. Same rules apply with the knees. Knees can stay bent or straighten out. Discomfort in the lower back or SI joints, slide a blanket underneath your hips, see if that helps. If you're having any sort of discomfort in the neck, this is a kind of a nice little variation. You can take the tail part, bend it, lift your head up, and tuck it underneath you, kind of to create a little pillow for your head. If you're having some discomfort in the neck. So again, finding that stillness in the posture. Notice again how the rib cage wants to pop up. Gently invite the rib cage to drop as much as possible. Perfect. We're going to add a little bridge lift with this. As you take a nice breath, just turn the palms down. You're going to inhale, just lift the hips up. As you slowly lift, you'll feel the weight shift back into your shoulder blades. Hold it there for a breath. And then exhale, slowly lower the hips down. You can also try this with the tail of your strip extended. Just kind of amplifies the sensation a little bit. Inhale, lifting the hips, weight shifts back into shoulders. So you can feel that spot right in between the shoulder blades, and then lower those hips back down. One more time, inhale, lifting it up. Big breath in, and then exhale, lowering down. And if you're enjoying this and can continue this for a few more rounds, good. And then when you're finished, again, enjoying that rebound, rolling off to the side, taking the strip out, again, getting all cozy and soft into the ground, stretching out your legs, your arms, and enjoy at least 5 to 10 deep breaths here. Oh, feels wonderful. Fantastic. So let's talk about number 3. And you may be wondering, do I do all 4 of these positions at the same time or in the same time. You don't have to, definitely not. If after doing all four you discover that you have a favorite one, then just work with that one. Just giving you a little bit of options to use. So this next one, you're going to bring a block or a blanket for your head, because we're going to be laying down again, of course, and you're going to take the strip, fold it over, and just bring it onto the mat. And we're going to be laying our shoulder blades on top of this. So bringing one elbow down and kind of adjust so the strip is in the center of the shoulders. Release the arms out and let the head come down. Knees bent or straighten those legs. This is a little more intense into that mid-back area. Chin is slightly tucked. Lower the arms a little bit. We don't want the arms too high. Gaze is always up. You never want to look from side to side when you're in this position or any of the positions with the spinal strip. Very important just to keep the gaze always pointing up. Take 5 or 10 deep breaths. Again, as always, options, straight legs or knees bent. It just depends on how it feels. I notice with this particular variation, it feels a little more comfortable to have the legs straight. And as you breathe, notice how the lungs are expanding forward as well as towards the back side of the lungs. So kind of push them into the lungs and see if you can inhale into the backs, the fronts, and the sides of lungs. Nice, deep, full inhalations. Good. So working with this for 5 to 10 breaths or however long you'd like to come out of it. You bend your knees, lift the hips up a little bit. You can slide that strip out of the way. You can keep the block underneath the head and just stretch out and enjoy that rebound effect. Beautiful. So the last way you can use your spinal strip, and it is probably the gentlest way, is to take the full length of the strip onto your mat, sit at one end so your tailbone is on it, and then release the whole length of the spine on the strip. I always enjoy extending the legs with this particular variation because this is a great way just to kind of become more aware of the imbalances in our bodies between the left and the right side. You can take your hands and just rest it on the ASISs, which are the bony parts of your pelvis, and just notice if you can feel one of these ASISs kind of pointing higher than the other. That means that your pelvis is just slightly lifted. Just allow your awareness to go up the full length of your spine and notice if you can feel that slight little lumbar arch where the lower back isn't touching the strip. Noticing how, or if your thoracic part of your spine, the middle part of your back, is touching the strip. A lot of times, for many of us, we tend to kind of lift the chest up and kind of thrust it forward. So it's kind of cool just to notice, am I doing that? And if you are, just gently invite it down. You can also hold your hands on the bottom parts of your rib cage. And again, notice, is one side higher than the other? No judgment here. There's no right, no wrong. It's just creating an awareness, an acceptance of the way your body is built. Even here on the shoulders, on the collarbones, notice if one of your shoulders is lifting up more than the other. And then once you've done that little exercise, that awareness exercise, you just release, enjoy 5, 10, 15, 20 breaths here. Full, deep breaths. And again, when you are finished and you've had enough and you want to roll off, just bend your knees, roll off the strip, slide it off to the side, release the body down, stretch out your legs, and just kind of settle in and enjoy that rebound. Fantastic. So, those are 4 of the ways that you can use your spinal strip or a block, or pardon me, a blanket or a beach blanket, beach towel. Just as a way of releasing the upper back, creating more ease in the shoulders, because the more space and ease you have in the shoulders, in the thoracic spine, you can imagine there's more space to breathe. Your lungs can fill more generously with air. And then the less discomfort or dysfunction you can have in the shoulders and the neck and the jaw. And really, it just feels wonderful, and a wonderful opportunity just to lay, relax, and do some nice deep breathing, either abdominal breathing or the full yogic 3-part breath, which is belly, rib cage, and chest. So enjoy that spinal strip, that lovely thoracic spine release, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.